Amazon has just underwent some of the biggest fee changes in its history. Fees are higher than ever, but they have given some break or reprieve in some areas. So I want to take you through today and show you exactly how I and my team have been navigating the last few months as these different fees have been coming into place. So first and foremost is the aged inventory surcharge. So let's read a little bit about it. If you're unfamiliar, this has changed names a couple of times. Used to be called long-term storage fees. Now it's aged inventory surcharge, and it really applies to any inventory units stored in Amazon's fulfillment network for 181 days and above. Aged inventory is assessed as a snapshot on the 15th day of each month, meaning if you clean things out between the 16th and the 14th and there's no aged inventory, you'll never be charged that aged inventory fee on anything over 181 days. The surcharge is charged monthly, typically between the 18th and 22nd, so that gets reflected in the fees that you get charged kind of between those times sometime. And then here's what the fees break down to be. Now, this is a little bit more difficult to determine just based off of the brackets because it's on size, right? And so you need to know what your total cubic foot would be for all of your items. Now, Amazon does give us a tool to be able to assess what our next fee charge is going to be per item. We're going to take a look at that a little bit together. And so what we need to know for now is before Feb 15th, these were the prices. And after Feb 15th, there's some additional pricing structure shown here. And so the biggest change is going to be anything, and really the only change is anything after 271 days. So if you have products after 271 days, you're now being charged $545 instead of $380, $570 instead of $490 instead of $420. Over $365 is exactly the same. Just something to be aware of. Again, we're going to see this in action when we go ahead and take a look at one of our accounts. And so you can assess how and where your fees are. And we're going to talk about some strategies that you can use to avoid these fees as well. The next fee we're going to look at is the low inventory level fee. So this one came in April 1st. And then also between April 1st and April 30th, 2024, there'll be a credit back in May for any fees that were incurred. So a bit of a transition period coming into this. Basically what this fee is, transparently, it's one of the most complex fees we've ever seen or had within Amazon. A little bit difficult to calculate. So Amazon's given us some good tools to be able to mitigate it and be able to quantify exactly what we're going to be charged and give a little bit of a forecast on that. But essentially what it is you do not want to stay below 28 days worth of inventory. And what they're going to do is they're going to take a look at your last 30 days. And then they're also going to take a look at your last 90 days. And so they're going to create an average of how many units you sell every day versus how many units you actually have in stock. And they're looking at these two periods. And if both of them, this is important, if both of them are below 28 days, there's a fee. If one of them is below 28 days, no fee. If both of them are above 28 days, no fee. So it needs to be both instances that this is happening. So here's the fees. They really don't mean a lot because you need to quantify the size of each product. Then you need to quantify the amount of units multiplied by how long they've been in Amazon. So it gets very complex to actually start to calculate and manage. So we're going to take a look at that inside our account as well. So make sure that you're sticking in for that. We're going to show you how to mitigate all of these fees, including the low level fee, which is a really hot topic amongst Amazon sellers now. Another thing to note here is for new professional sellers, for the first 365 days after first inventory received date, meaning if you're yet to sell any products, you'll have 365 days from when you start, fee free for low inventory fees. If you're currently selling, but have been selling for less than 1 year since you sent your first inventory shipment in, you have until that 365-day mark, right? So it gives you some time to prepare, get used to it, start like taking a look at what your metrics are going to be so you can avoid this fee in the future. And then it also says new to FBA parent products for the first 180 days. So if it's a brand new ASIN or product that you're selling on, maybe you're selling private label and you launch a new product, maybe you're working with a brand and you help them launch a new product, whatever it might be, if there's a brand new product being added, you get 180 days or approximately 6 months fee free here as well. So 2 conditions to pay attention to, and then things are auto replenished by something called AWD or Amazon Warehousing and Distribution. I'm not going to talk about that today. It does not make sense for most sellers. I've done the math, done the investigations. If that is something you are using or want to use, nothing against it, and you're going to be able to avoid this fee if you use Amazon's warehousing and distribution as well. Then it goes into how that's going to actually be assessed and gives examples and things like that, which you can feel free to look up on Seller Central and dive into yourself. Again, we're going to look at that a little bit here together as well. Next is going to be the FBA inbound placement service fee. So this is something that is brand new as well, starting March 1st, 2024. This is just a general note about fees. This is the fulfillment fees rather that we're about to look at after this. But March 1st, 2024, this came into effect. So now when you go to create a shipment, whether it's through Seller Central or a third-party app or a prep center is doing it for you, there's going to be 3 options, right? There's going to be minimal shipment splits. There's going to be partial or Amazon optimized shipment splits, or there's going to be no splits. That's going to be a third option. We'll take a look at those together and how they work. Essentially, this is Amazon saying, hey, look, we need products across the entire country. Our customers, Amazon's customers, wants to get their products in same day, 1 day, or 2-day Prime delivery. That's a promise that Amazon makes to Prime subscribers when they buy their products. And what they're saying is we're no longer willing to pay the expedited cost of actually having that inventory distributed throughout the country, right? We're not going to let you send it all into one location with no additional fees or charges to you, because we then have to turn around and pay to ship these products out, because it's unfeasible or very expensive to be shipping products across the entire country same day, next day, or even 2 days away. So Amazon will naturally distribute these products throughout the country. They are already doing this in the background, and now they want you to help cover the cost of that. So we're going to look at some strategies, some situations so that we can make sure to plan and be able to take care of this fee. And again, there's just some examples and how the fees are charged. Here's the exact information for minimal shipment split, partial shipment split, or Amazon optimized shipment splits. Basically, most fees, some fees, no fees, right? That's the way that it's going to work. We'll look at an example here together. Lastly, the fulfillment fees. This is one piece of area that we can rejoice in. We get some reprieve here. The fulfillment fees on average have actually gone down. And so here we see January 15th to Feb 4th, Feb 5th to April 14th. And then here's the new fees starting April 15th and past. And so as we can see the fees previously on a small standard, here's the increments. They've added more weight increments to each of their sections, to each of their fee structures for more accurate charging of fees, but it's all gone down. And on average, it's went down by a significant amount. So here's our small standard, large standard, all the different oversizes. And then there's a new tier called large bulky for really, really large and bulky items, essentially. And so as we can see, on average, all of these are going down by, close to 20 cents, 16 cents, et cetera, et cetera. And as you go, the difference in fees gets greater and greater. So that's a little bit of good news coming from Amazon. And so the conversation here is if you can avoid the extra fees that they're adding or minimize them, and you can actually be in a situation where you're taking advantage of these fulfillment fees being on a reduced level, you actually might be more profitable, make more money in the long run. If you're avoiding aged inventory, if you're avoiding low level, if you're minimizing the inbound placements, you could actually make more money than you could before. But if your inventory management is all over the place, you don't have a system or structure, you're not paying attention, you might be in trouble. And so here we're going to take a look at an example and how they would kind of show or manifest themselves. All right, here is an account that we manage for a brand. And so I'm going to show some of the details here of things that we can see. And so we're going to notice, if you haven't noticed, that this new area, what we've done is we went to the top little section here. We went to inventory and we went to FBA inventory. This is the screen you're going to see with all of your products. And so as we can see here, we see a sales summary. We see historical days of supply, right? These are the important ones. We can also come in here and we can edit our table preferences or the columns that we're ultimately going to see. And so what we want to make sure that we're taking a look at here is we want to see historical days of supply, right? That's going to help us with our low inventory fees. We want to also see our estimated aged inventory surcharge, because that'll help us to estimate how much we're actually going to be paying in estimated aged inventory surcharge. What we want to pay attention to here for the low level inventory fee is historical days of supply. And we need to keep this above 28. So we'll see if we have product that's below 28. We have one that's getting close with 44. Historical days of supply, 45, but nothing that is actually under 28. So if it's below 28, it will actually go red. It'll show you almost in flashing lights, but just red color, that you have less than 28 days worth of supply. And that's when the fees start to actually kick in. So our job is to make sure that we have over 28 days of supply in stock in Amazon in order to avoid these fees. And they can be minimal or they can be quite large if you're constantly restocking, but not keeping over 28 days. So if you're purchasing inventory on a one-time basis, sell through it as quickly as you can, minimize those fees or avoid those fees. And then if you're bringing products on a regular basis, you'll then want to keep over 28 days worth of historical inventory. And this is the indicator that helps you realize this. You can pop this out and you can see 30 days, 90 days, the information that goes into this, and if the fee will be applied or not be applied. And so you can use that to start avoiding some of those fees. Additionally, we also look at that aged inventory, products that are older, and we can determine what types of fees we're going to pay on these. And again, I think our inventory management is okay when it comes to this brand, but we'll use this one for an example. Here we can see our inventory age, and this is the number of units, and this is the date ranges. So for this specific product, we have 0 to 60, 61 to 90, and 181 to 330, where we have some areas of concern or areas we'd want to pay attention to. So this particular product, between 181 and 330 days, we will potentially actually have that surcharge coming. And so here you can break it out into greater depth and see in tighter bands of about 30 days where that inventory sits and how many units actually account for that. So this product specifically just would have went to the 180-day capacity. So as the 15th of the month comes up on our next month, we'll start to see what our estimated inventory surcharge is if this inventory hasn't been cleared out. And it's going to give you what that dollar amount would be for that product in that month, right? And so what we do regularly with our inventory is we just take a look at these inventory ages, right? And anything 0 to 60, that's where you want it to be. That's your best inventory. It's selling quickly. You're all good. 61 to 90, here's where we want to look at, all right, these are products that are coming up to it, and next month we're going to want to take some actions if we haven't sold these items. And then 91 to 80, this is the couple of months that you have to figure out how to get rid of or strategize how to get rid of this inventory. You can lower pricing. You can run some simple automatic PPC advertising campaigns through Amazon. You can add some coupons to give discounts or special clipped coupons to your customers to get rid of that inventory a little bit quicker, all in an effort to avoid these fees and hopefully still stay profitable. And then once you get to the bracket of 181 or above, you're about to be or have already been charged that fee. And my recommendation would be get rid of that inventory at all costs. Slash pricing, go heavier on ads, do more aggressive coupons, whatever you need to do, because you're going to be charged these additional meaningless fees that you can absolutely avoid. So this is what we're going to be doing very soon for these few units for this product particularly, so we don't incur those fees. And then lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at inbound placement fees. So this is a new thing on shipments. So if you go here to this drop down menu, and this is in your manage inventory screen, you go to send and replenish inventory as if we were just going to make a normal shipment. This brings you to your product. So this is a pre-selected SKU for this one. You can go and click here and look at all SKUs. This account, we just have the one SKU. We have a shipping template that we've gone ahead and created in the past here. Now we know that based on the template, there's 10 units in a box. So we need to just come in and say how many boxes we're going to send in. So for this product, we're going to say that we're going to send 50 boxes in, and we're going to say, okay, we're ready to send. So we're going to send 500 units of this item, just as an example. Here's where you could print your SKU labels or FN SKU labels if you needed to, or send them to your prep center. And then you're going to go ahead and click and confirm. All right. So Amazon has now processed this information, and it's come back with a couple different recommendations. So we have the Amazon optimized shipment splits, which is 5 shipments they want us to make. $0, no placement fee. Partial shipment splits, 3 shipments. They want to charge us $405 for these 500 units. Now, these are bigger, larger, heavier units. So that comes into play. And then minimal shipments, 1 shipment, they want to charge us $1,700, which is absolutely crazy to send in these units if we want it to go to one place. And so now we need to look in and do a little bit of math and figure it out, whether we're shipping or our prep center shipping, what we really want to do. So this is where if you're doing things yourself, you have some control. If you have a prep center in place, you're going to want to communicate with them on what the best option is for you. As we know, we have the option of doing small parcel delivery or SPD, or we can come and do a less than truckload, and we'll have to get some estimates and get some quotes. So we're going to do this based off of our SPD and take a look at a couple of these situations. And so here we can see that our UPS Amazon partnered carrier would be $886.62. And by the way, this is 10 units in a case or a box. If you can re-optimize your boxes, you could probably get these shipments and these costs down. These are quite small boxes. So again, a prep center in place, they can help you optimize, use bigger boxes, save on shipping fees. If you're doing it yourself, think about that, right? Think about buying bigger boxes to consolidate, to be able to bring down the actual size of your shipments. As we can see here, the weight of these shipments, these are bigger items, right? We have over 1,500 pounds, almost 1,600 pounds of actual goods going. So it is a big shipment, right? Lots of units, lots of pounds. So here, let's just take a look at what the overall fees would be, right? And so we chose the 3 shipments, $405 option, partial shipments. It's going to go to 3 places. UPS is going to take all of the boxes for us. And so our total is $405 for placement fees and $886 for actual shipping fees, nearly $1,300. So $1,291. Let's take a look at the minimal shipment splits. We'll do that all one place, see what that would be. This is generally going to be your most expensive option. This is $2,634, so approximately double the cost to send it all to one place. So already we see that it's worth it to split it out to at least 3 shipments, 3 places. But let's take a look at the no placement service fee and see what our costs come out to. So if we're going to send this to 5 different places, meaning we pack it into 5 distinct shipments, what is our cost going to be? So no fee, $918.23, a little bit more because we're shipping to more locations, makes sense, but no placement fees, right? So $918.23. So we had $918, we had just over $1,200, and then we had about double that on the minimal splits. And so for us in this situation, 5 shipments at $918 saves us about $300 versus 3 shipments. And so in this situation, we'd want to avoid that placement fee. We'd want to pay no fee and just send it to multiple locations. That's what probably makes the most sense. Of course, you have to think about if you're using a prep center, it really should be no extra cost, right? Maybe they charge per box labels or things like that. Should be no extra cost. If you're doing it yourself, your workflow, now you need to create 5 shipments. You need to send them to 5 separate locations. Might be a little bit more, but you can weigh the pros and cons. Is it worth the extra $300 or not worth the extra $300? Thanks for sticking in. I hope that this was valuable to you. I hope that you learned something in this video. There's a lot of fees going on, but as you can see, if you can actually operate in an efficient way, you can potentially avoid a lot of the unnecessary fees. You can start to integrate the absolutely necessary fees, and we've even gotten a break this year on our overall fulfillment fees. So you can, in the end, potentially be even more profitable than you were before if you just know how to use and navigate these fees. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. That's it for this one.